So I'm recording now, and so I'm going to use the green background with a white marker. Two good colors, especially this week with what we've got going on with Michigan State about to go to Ann Arbor and ruin their weekend. So which landmarks do we need to know, Mr. Dodds? Here are the landmarks that I have written down. These are the ones I'm going to put a diagram on the quiz, and you're going to have to label them. All right, so cephalic. Anybody know what that means? Head, good. Ocular. You guys already got them. What about otic? Good. Nasal. That's a tough one. Oral. Cervical. Thoracic. Abdominal. Another tough one. Brachial. What part of the arm? Upper arm, yeah. Because anti means for, like before. Oh, antebrachial, forearm. All right. Inguinal, that might be a tough one for you. Yep. Femoral, like I said, that's one you'll see a lot. Thigh, yep. My femoral region is just killing me right now. Been trying to get back to working out. What is patellar? Do you know that one? Front of the knee. Carpal. Yep. Tarsal. Gluteal. Sural. That's calf. What about calcaneal? Calcaneal, that's the heel. And plantar. Not only that, but what part? The bottom, the sole of the foot, right? Okay, so those are the landmarks that will be labeled. Taponker? Carpal would be the wrist, tarsal would be like in the ankle. Okay. All right. Other things though, there's more than that, right? There's a lot to this. That's what I said. So we're going to take this quiz and we're going to do our best. We're going to see what we did well, what we didn't do so well. We're going to continue to work on it, and I think we're going to be able to test on chapter 1 probably near the end of next week by the time we practice these and redo them and all that stuff. I don't expect you guys necessarily get 100% on this quiz the first try. There's going to, like I said, there's a lot. I'm not going to go with the I had abdominal pelvic regions, but I don't think I'm going to put that on there, the 9 regions. But we are going to have the directional terms. I'm already taking a ton of time. We're not going to see the whole video. But directional terms, so that would be anterior, which is the same as what, do you know? Front, and the side with our vents, nose and mouth side, ventral. Okay, and then we also have dorsal or posterior. Okay, same thing, back, yep. We have superior, that's towards the top, above. Inferior, below. What's that? Upper, yeah, I guess. Yep. I wouldn't ask you to do that on the quiz, though. We have medial. What's that mean? towards the middle, as opposed to lateral, which is away from the middle toward the side, right? We have proximal and distal. When do we use those? When what? Talking about limbs. Yep, arms and legs. Okay. And then the last two are superficial and deep. Okay. A lot of stuff, right? A lot of stuff. What else? Sectional planes. Frontal, sagittal, and transverse or cross. There was another one we put there was mid-sagittal. So sagittal is when we have a left and a right part, not necessarily even parts. Okay? Like when we do these sectional planes, depending on like the imaging, and sometimes we combine these different planes. We take a bunch of pictures of different planes and combine them to make 3D images in medical imaging. So they could take pictures, a scan through here, 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 here. These are all sagittal. But if they do one right down the middle, then they call that mid-sagittal. Okay, I'm not going to put that on there because then it'll just make it confusing. You could also just say that's sagittal. So if I did have a plane that was labeled right down the middle and one of the options is sagittal, that's what you'll pick, sagittal, even though it is technically mid-sagittal. Okay, and the only other thing we have are the body cavities from 1-8. All right, so cavities, we have two main ones. We have the top going back, that's the back of the body, and then we have the front. I told you guys I'm really good at drawing. Okay, so the one in the back is dorsal, because that's the back side, right? And the front is ventral. And that's really just in the trunk there. But the dorsal, that consists of the cranial cavity for the brain and the spinal cavity for the spinal cord. Just those two, and that's done. So dorsal's pretty easy. So we have the dorsal cavity. It consists of the cranial cavity and the spinal cavity. Pizza cake. Okay. Now ventral, on the other hand, we have the chest cavity, which is thoracic, and then we have, and so there's a. I didn't really talk about this too much with you guys, I don't think, but there's a thin layer of muscle that actually allows us to breathe. It's called the diaphragm, but that separates the thoracic cavity from the abdominal cavity. Okay. And then below that is pelvic cavity, and the two combined are called abdominopelvic. Just stick the two words together. Now for the thoracic, we can also break that down into plural for the lungs and pericardial for the heart. And that's the quiz. All right. So I'll put that on YouTube, and if you guys want to check that out again later, there it is.